Hello, Opening Pathways viewers. It's Tom Lenoble, and I have Mark Steiner today, who is the co-founder and CEO of GigSalad. And he is going to share a little bit about GigSalad, but more, he's going to share about himself. Mark, welcome to Opening Pathways.
I am so glad to be here, Tom. I've been looking forward to this, and here we are.
Here we are. I am glad that you're here as well. Let's start at the beginning. I want to know a bit about Gig Salad and what sparked your idea to start it.
Gig Salad was a solution to the classic problem that entrepreneurs face, that things get created. Was getting, I was dealing with or trying to help and serve people that weren't within my particular business model. I was a booking agent and I was mostly, well, I was booking headliners and national touring acts and celebrities and personalities. But I was getting contacted by local, regional entertainers, performers, speakers, and event service providers looking for gigs and or looking for representation. And at the same time, I was getting contacted by event planners looking for those types of entertainers, performers, and speakers. And I said to my friend, was my co-founder at GigSalad, I said, I want to help, I want to serve. I think there's an opportunity here, but I need to create something so I can get back to my core business, which is back to being a booking agent. And we started conceptualizing GigSalad, and off we went. It was, we had an early iteration and a beta for several years, and then official launch was in January of '07.
Love this. Tell me, was there a moment on this journey where you said to yourself, yep, this is my path?
Yes, it was in 2011 when at that finally, Steve and I, there was enough income that we said, I think we can make our living from this too. Up until that point, every dollar made went back into the business, building the infrastructure, hiring a team, etc. And so I kept my Steiner talent booking agency going for those 4 years. Steve had his Tetro design agency going. And finally, July of 11, we said, okay, I put Steiner talent, folded it into the common interest since it was kind of close to what we were doing. And I kept the booking agency going. And Steve just shuttered the doors of Tetra Design, and that was it. I mean, I'm a dreamer. I'm a visionary and a dreamer, and my head's in the clouds most of the time. And I don't try to get into things, or at least stay in things where I don't think I'm going to accomplish something, perhaps be really successful at something. And so, I thought early on, maybe, just maybe, but I was too young and dumb to really know everything that was going to take to get there.
Okay.
And so I think early on, I thought I was dreaming of, $1 million business. This is back in 2002, 2000, or 2003 or so. And we got there. So
Okay. Going back to a young Mark's life, who believed in you before you knew to believe in yourself?
that's a lovely question. I'm adopted. I was adopted at birth. And so from age one, we celebrated celebrated twice in March. I was born on March 10th, 1966, and on March 30th, I was home with my parents. And I was redirected right at birth, and I was adopted through Catholic Charities, and they gave a little book to every adoptee. And so when we would celebrate the day I came home, they would read me a book, and it talked about how special I was because I was chosen. I was handpicked, and on and on. And my parents really supported me from, I mean, for as far back as I can remember. There was a family, there was a therapist as part of the getting to the confirmation of the adoption. There was evaluations and things, and that when I was evaluated as an infant, they said this child has a lot of passion, and you can see and ambition and desire, and he'll go for what he wants. And that was all determined by the fact that my mother had cookies in the purse, and I went for cookies. I went for the cookies without crying, without, I pushed things away. I got to the goal, and she said, don't, the therapist said to my parents, harness that energy. Don't try to stifle it. And you'll do well. And I can tell you that my parents have done that, and they're still alive. They're 87 and 86, and it started at home, really.
I love this. I love this. So, Mark, tell us what personal values have guided you from the start, and is there one that's deepened as you've been working on Gig Salad?
Yeah, when I had book when I started as a booking agent, I entered into a very deep, rich market. There was lots of us out there. And I was a middle broker, so I represented talent that a lot of other people were booking and representing. So all I had was me, my personality, my chutzpah, my my ability to basically charm someone and convince them why they should work with me. And but beyond that, what I would tell people is I I approach every every contact with honesty, integrity, and forthrightness. I have your best interest at heart. I'm not going to get rich off of you. I have no desire to get rich off of you. What I want to do is provide a great service. I want it to be a great success for all parties, for me and you as the promoter and the talent. And at the end, if everybody wins, then there should be no reason why we don't try to do this again. And that's what I built it on, was one person at a time, one contact at a time, was honesty, integrity, and forthrightness. And I stand by it, and I stand by it today. And I really leaned into it when I um, was building Gig Salad, as I was hiring a team and creating a culture. It was those principles, and then even more so because I was a little older now, and I was starting to appreciate what life was really about and what mattered to me, and it was about peace and love. And so that's the culture at Gig Salad. It's peace and love and gigs, and those are the things that I care most about. And uh, it's really, as I said, it's all that matters as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned.
Tell me this, what part of yourself are you still discovering?
Oh, Tom, good questions. Um, I turned 60 this year, and on my birthday, I launched my personal website, and I realized, and it was really just going to be a blog based, it's on WordPress. It was just going to be a place where I wrote. And what has transpired over the past year or so is that I've really feel like I've found my most authentic self. I believe that here and now, sitting in front of you, it's Mark Steiner in the richest, realest, most raw form you could I ever imagined. It's entirely me, and I um uh uh it took a lifetime to get here. So I make no apologies anymore unless I've made a mistake, but I don't I don't apologize for who I am as a person. And I've really, it's taken a long time to get here, and I realized why I might not have appreciated an entirely different level of success before. Why I think I was possibly prevented from reaching some of my original goals, which was to become a movie star or a rock star. I think I would have absolutely been a classic case of, I would have crumbled. I would have been destroyed. I would not have known how to handle fame and wealth and any of that. And here I am. I think humble and grateful.
Yeah, yeah, I love this. Some people see fear and they find it as information. Some people find fear as a stop sign. I like to
Yeah.
share that I've learned it's an opportunity for growth. I'm curious about a fear that still visits you even after all of the success you've had?
Oh, well, I mean, the core fear, I mean, as far back as I can remember, was that I will be rejected again. I will be abandoned. I'll be let go, that I'm not enough, that I'm not valuable. Um, that was the story that I told myself, in spite of the fact that I was supported and surrounded by love, that I was told that I was special. Still, I held on to this notion that I was not enough as a baby, and I was let go. And fortunately, 25 years later, after I got married, I did a search, found my biological mother, and I learned the whole story. I learned the real story, and it was a much different story, and it was a story of love and sacrifice, and yet still, on occasion, on occasion, fear creeps in, and it's that I won't be enough.
Yeah.
It's very little. It's very little. I've learned my approach to fear has been, it's okay to be afraid at times, but lean into it and do that thing
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And also be present. Be When you can be present, most of the times you can at least alleviate the fear or diminish it by just saying, be here now. What is going on right now? Forget about what happened in the past. Try try not to project what you think is going to happen in the future, and fear slowly. Let's go. I also would say this, Tom. Um, I I I really stopped being afraid when I realized that fear and love can't exist in the same place. That they're opposites. And as a person who wants to love, wants to be loved, I realized I can't have that there, and so I had to I had to grapple with and work, come reckon with loving myself first, and now that I do, it's amazing how much less fear there is in my
I love
life.
this. I love this. A lot of wisdom now being shared here today. Tell me this.
Oh, thank you.
How has, yes, how has your relationship with risk changed as you've been on
Mm.
this venture of Gig Salad?
Provocative questions, Tom. It's as if you know me really well. The I'm a risk taker. I have been the guy. I'm very risk tolerant, and that's because my head is in the clouds, and I'm looking ahead, and I'm thinking, I believe in myself. I believe in my vision. Let's go, everybody. Um, I realized that a lot of that is based in I had a late in life diagnosis of ADHD. About 2.5 years ago, I was 57, and I realized that a lot of my uh, ability or willingness to take risks, to gamble, literally to gamble, was based in the fact that I was chasing dopamine. It was a huge dopamine hit for me to take risks and gamble and be willing to go all in no matter what happens. And I still have that. But it's an interesting sort of study. I'm constantly observing myself and saying, is this risk based on something that you think you actually can actualize, and you truly are not afraid of whatever the repercussions or whatever comes from this? Or is this simply your desire to feel something? And um, fortunately, I've put a lot of good, I'm aware of my condition. I find other ways to to get the dopamine hit, which is a lot of it's based in my entrepreneurialism, and which requires taking risks. Um, but I've surrounded myself with a lot of great people, a lot of conservative thinkers in the business world that'll keep me in check and say, "Well, Mark, yes, to an extent. Let's we can go for it, but can we do it in small doses? Can we do it, you know, let's create a system to get ourselves there."
What impact are you most proud of? Not professionally, not publicly, but personally.
My children, absolutely 100%. I talked to my children yesterday, and couldn't I could get emotional right now. I don't want to be grandiose about this, but I was taught. I arrived in Rapid City, South Dakota last night. I take a lot of road trips, and I have a lot of windshield time to think and talk to people. And I talked to my children. We just talked about the weekend, and um, I I had a single goal as a parent to get my children to 18, have them be as independent and ready to wander and wonder and be kind people. And that was really the extent of it. In terms of am, ambition, I thought that that would be there for them because they had observed their mother and father. But beyond that, it was go and discover, go on the adventure, go on the journey, and find yourselves, find your path, find your career, your vocation. My daughter's a lawyer. She's going to be an entertainment lawyer, and she's married, and she's living an amazing life at 28 years old. And she's a good person. She's a really talented lawyer. Um, my son is in Boulder. He studied for he's about to apply to med schools. He just got his MCAT scores back, and he is a 24-year-old stud. He's an athlete. He's a kind person. He's super smart, well read. Um, and I feel like, as far as a legacy goes, I've my contribution to the world is, here's two people that I was a part of their creation, and I think they're going to do good by you, and they're going to be good stewards of the world and of others, and they have peace and love, and so that's it.
I love this. So, we do a lot of measuring and collecting of data. I'm curious, what's something you've intentionally stopped measuring?
Oh, well, dangerously so. I stopped measuring my weight. I've had a lifelong struggle with food addiction, overeating, just indulgence. It is my drug of choice. I've had ups and downs and all around, and I'm at this really pivotal moment where everything in my life is really exceptional. I feel very complete and full and happy and joy, and that's in spite of not being at the most ideal weight that I've ever imagined. I'm a little soft in the middle right now, and in the past, I would have loathed myself for that. I would have thought that was absolutely a way that I thought, you're not attractive, so you're not enough. And I've it's not easy, but I've stopped getting on the scale, and I try to live moment to moment and make good decisions based on, what the outcome will be based on whatever choices I make. And so I'm not looking at the pounds the same way I used to,
Yeah, yeah, this is
or the
great.
waist size.
Yes, yes, great. I used to weigh 300 pounds, Mark.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah,
I
yeah, wow.
Okay, maybe I can either interview you right now about that, or we can have a
Yeah,
sidebar
yeah, yeah. We'll
afterwards.
save we'll save that for another
Okay,
time.
okay.
So tell me this, what
Congratulations.
kind of culture do you hope people experience when they work with you?
As I said, that they feel that they are the most valuable people in the world, that they are doing something of great value, that they are contributing to something that is an amazing. GigSalad is an amazing thing. It's an amazing resource. We give people the opportunity to do what they love. We keep people gigging, and it really is in our moniker. Again, it goes back to peace, love, and gigs. I want people to have fun at the job, not take ourselves too seriously. um, I want them to know that I care about them, that me and my partner care about them, that we love them, that we want their well-being. We want them to have amazing work life balance, and that they are passionate about what they do. I want them to work hard, and I want them to really lean into it and realize what they're contributing to. So
Love this, love
that's
this.
it.
Tell me this, what does legacy mean to you, Mark, at this stage of life?
I want I on the one hand, I don't take it too seriously, in that we are often forgotten within a very short period of time. I'm realizing that. I'm hearing there. I'm about to go see the presidents etched in at the monument at Mount Rushmore, and you'd kind of have to be one of them to have people come back and sort of know a little bit about you. Beyond that, um, I would hope that if anybody ever thought about me, they thought that I was kind and good, and I was thoughtful and mindful and present, that I was a good steward of of our earth and the universe. My professional, I there's still that, also that part of me that wants to be, wants to be bigger than life. I'd
Yeah,
love to. I still want to be a movie star. I still want to be a rock star. Um, and if people remembered me, some of that too, that I created some neat stuff, that I built some neat stuff, and that it outlasts me, then I would be proud of that.
I love this. Tell me this. Um, what does generosity look like to you beyond money?
Yeah. This is also sort of a newer thing. I've started riding my bike to and from work, and the impact, that the dynamic impact that this has have had on my life, the profound impact spiritually, physically, emotionally, and socially. I say hello to every person I see, if to going to and from work. If they're a fellow rider, if they're walking, if they're in the car, they gave me the right of way. It's thank you, good morning. The way I light up people's lives, a smile, to look at somebody, and how often I surprise people by saying good morning to complete strangers, and they say good morning back, and it's giving me goosebumps thinking about it. See that? The fact that it takes nothing more than to pay attention and to interact with our fellow humans. um, I had this epiphany about 2 months ago. I came to a street corner where a mother was pushing a baby carriage, and I hesitated to say hello or smile. I thought, she's going to think I'm a creepy old man. I ran all of this dialogue in my head, so I didn't say it. And then I thought, but I should say it. And then I thought, but if I say it now, she's going to think I'm a weirdo. And I had this, and then we happened to be we were going to a street fair. So I was walking behind this person the whole time. And by the time I got to the street fair, I made a pact with myself, which is I'll never hesitate again on saying hello, and or at a minimum making the attempt to make eye contact. And if I do, I'm going to acknowledge them. I'm going to at least smile.
Yeah.
And what came to me in that moment was, that's all we want here. It on this earth. I think the first instinct we have is, am I safe? Does this person that just came into my sphere here, my realm of existence, did they come in peace? And I think the one way to say that to our fellow humans is by saying at least hello, good day. It's all you have. It's like, I come in peace, and then let it go at that. And if something more transpires, then wonderful. But to just acknowledge each other and say, I see you, I hear you. I by by me doing that, by me acknowledging you, I'm telling you I care about you, and I want good for you. I want you to be safe, and I want to be safe. I want to know if you're safe. Do you want to hurt me?
Yeah, I love this, Mark. I don't know if I told you, but I'm actually a philanthropist, and I had people coming to me going, Tom, when I have money, I want to be a philanthropist. And so it sparked me to create a keynote and a workshop called the Philanthropic Mindset to help people
Oh,
see that
yeah,
our smile or a hello or sitting with someone in need is a philanthropic gesture, which is
absolutely.
what you're experiencing. When it changes out of that is when we expect something in return. But that's a whole different
Nope.
podcast for another day. Tell me
Yes.
this. What does renewal look like for Mark beyond a day off or resting? How do you renew?
Oh, it's travel. I realized that my 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 mode of operation is about every 4 to 6 weeks. I kind of got to take off and be alone for a little while. And I'm in an amazing relationship. I have a great partner. Um, I love Carrie, and still, I need some alone time, and I need to just be by myself, jump in the car. I do road trips. I'm not afraid of flying, but I like to drive. I like seeing places, and um, that's that's a ritual for me. And what I've discovered is I don't have to take the 2 or 3 or even sometimes a week at a time to get away and do a big road trip. My bike rides have provided this for me on a daily basis. I have a 6 mile ride back and forth to one way. It takes me half an hour. So I do 12 miles a day, an hour a day on the bike. And it's as if I'm driving cross country for half an hour. I'm a little kid again at 8 years old. That's it. My bike ride is my renewal. Twice a
I,
day, I have a time to meditate, contemplate. I'm in prayer. It's an amazing ritual, and that's my renewal time for as of right
yeah,
now.
I love this. I love this. Tell me this. What wisdom have you earned that you could have never read in a book?
Oh, it's one thing to, I was raised Catholic. Um, Went on and was part of a non-denominational Christian church for a long time. There was a long period of time where I wasn't a part of any church and was just reading, but always spiritual and faithful in some way. Um, and as much as it's been said, love yourself. It starts with loving yourself. Um, it takes experience. It takes hitting bottom, I think, at time. It's for some, you know. But to have a healthy relationship, a holistic, healthy relationship, comes with experience. It's life, and it's it's facing pain and suffering. It's and even embracing it and saying this is going to make me better. It's the hero's journey. It's entering into darkness and um and grappling with your shadow self. So yeah, it's funny. I spent a lifetime, well, early in my life, young adulthood, as a child, I wanted things quick. I didn't want to practice at things. I just wanted to be good at things. And then when we started Gig Salad, we would say slow and steady wins the race. We were a bootstrap company. And so very, very small monetary capital invested between me and my partner. Um, and for that reason, we didn't have all the resources and tools at our disposal. We didn't have a huge team, but what we did have was gumption and moxie and grit and hard work ethic and a dream and the belief that slow and steady wins the race and cream rises to the top, and you just stay with it, you'll get there. And here I am at 60 years old, feeling like I'm a little kid again. I literally get on the bike and I feel like an 8 year old. I am busier and more ambitious than I've ever been, Tom. And that could not have been taught to me. Like it couldn't, it only could come from my life of experiences and the
Wow.
good, the bad, the ugly. Um, yeah, it's life.
Yeah, I love this,
Time.
Mark. Tell me this, Mark. What have you learned about trust since you started Gig Salad?
Trust but verify. Be opt. You can be cautiously optimistic, but ultimately, I have. I I don't really have. Well, I don't live with mistrust. Um, I will give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll give people second chances until until it really reveals itself, and then you say, "Oh, well, there you go. That person showed me who they were very early on. I just chose to ignore it or didn't see it." Um, and then outside of people, just in terms of circumstances and life and the things that are out of our control, I've trusted that it'll all work out. And I may not understand it right away, but sometime I will, or maybe sometime I won't. Sometimes I won't, but it doesn't matter. What I do trust is the I trust the process and I trust the journey. And ultimately, in my case, I do trust that in the end it'll all make sense. Like now, I understand why certain things didn't come to me earlier on, and I'm very grateful that they didn't. I live in extreme gratitude, um, and that if you don't have trust, if you go through life as a mistrusting person, that's a miserable being. That's a miserable existence, frankly. I mean, and so I, you know, I'm confident that your listeners are trusting people. They wouldn't be listening to you if they weren't on the same path and journey, or they're trying to get to that place.
Yeah.
But yeah, trust is so important.
Yeah. If your story could leave our listeners with one invitation, what would it be?
Never, it's never too late. Never give up. You're not too old. You're not too young. You you can do it. Really, you can do just about anything you put your mind to. And I'm telling you, you hear this, you hear it said often, like, if I could do it, you could do it. It's really true with me. It's really true. Like, I've had a pretty good life. I don't want to deny that in many ways I've had a very charmed life, a fairly, maybe even a privileged life in a great degree. Like, it wasn't with great wealth. We weren't super wealthy, classic middle class, middle America upbringing, which I realize I don't take that for granted. So many people don't even have that. But still, we all have our demons, we all have our challenges, we all have our things that we need to overcome. And if you just if you're mindful about it and you're intentional about it, you can do it. You just sometimes need to say help, get a little support, and then get on your way. So yeah, just find your bliss. Find your gig. Find the thing that you were put on this earth to do. That is ultimately it. I believe everybody has a gig. The one thing that only they could do, the unique thing that only you could do, like nobody else. That to me is the meaning of life. Finding
Yeah.
that thing in your life.
Again, some great wisdom for the viewers today. Mark, before we leave, please tell us again about Gig Salad, maybe what your boldest vision coming up is, and how we find you.
Thank you. The place to find me would be my new website and podcast, which is starting soon, which, Tom, you're going to be a guest on. But thinkupon.com is the place to find all things Mark Steiner, including references and connections to Gig Salad. GigSalad.com is the event marketplace where you can, I think everybody's a potential event planner. So you should search Gig Salad to find what you need. And um, I think that covers it. Thinkupon.com and gigsalad.com gets you to me.
Wonderful. Mark Steiner, co-founder and CEO of Gig Salad and Think Upon, which I love. Thank you
Thank you.
for being on Opening Pathways today.
Thank you. You're a great host, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And to my viewers, this is Tom Lenoble, and I'll see you next time.